Welcome to the Middleware Tech YouTube channel. In this series, you'll learn about SOAP web service. All code examples used in the videos will be available on GitHub. Let's get started.
So JAX-WS web service, right? So let's see. We'll get to SOAP web service overview. Here, if you see how this SOAP web service looks like, this is a simple SOAP web service. As I told you last day, if you remember, that when you send a particular request, that is called SOAP request, and you get a response, that is called SOAP response. So that SOAP's request and SOAP response that we define inside an SOAP envelope. So SOAP envelope contain two elements, body and header, where body is a mandatory, header is optional. If you want to send some media files or attachment with the help of using SOAP protocol, you can send it. That is called SOAP attachment, right? Okay. So this is how it look like. If you see here how it look like, this is HTTP header and this is the body, HTTP SOAP body. Inside a SOAP body you can send some data based on your requirement, and that SOAP body comes under SOAP envelope, right? And if you are going to send some attachment, that you can send any MIME type attachment with the help of search, so that will come later after some time. Now if you see here how this SOAP HTTP request look like, this is the envelope, root element, and inside that header is optional, body contains some data, right? And this SOAP request is using WebLogic server. That's why it is using localhost port number 7001, right? Okay. SOAP request response, and here we are talking about WSDL file. So what you know, I still know about WSDL file. If you remember last day, WSDL file is a simple XML file. It is one type of contract. What does it mean by contract? If I want to consume an web service, then I should have the WSDL file. I can get it via email or I can get it from the registry, whatever it is. If I want to consume, a Java class want to consume an web service, it must have an WSDL file. Fine. Now this WSDL file contains multiple elements. We have to know those elements one by one. So for WSDL file contain multiple elements like definition element is a root element, types element contain the schema. Schema means web service is going to consume some XML data, right? And web service is going to consume some XML data as a request, and going to return some XML data as a response. So input XML document and outgoing XML document should have some grammar, that is a schema. The schema of your input data and outgoing data is defined inside that type element. A schema of your incoming XML data and outgoing XML data is defined inside the types element. Message contain the exact incoming information and outgoing information. Port type contain how many operations you are going to access using web service. In your class, you can have 10 methods. Out of 10 methods, you want to expose only 5 methods or 4 methods as a web service. So the 4 method or 5 method you want to access a web service, the method that you want to expose as a web service, those things will come as an operation inside port type. In my Java class, I have 10 methods. Out of 10 methods, I want to expose 4 methods as a web service. So those 4 methods will come as an operations inside this port type element. Right, bindings is come into picture. What type of binding? So there is two types of binding is there: document binding and style binding. I'll come into that binding after some time. So what type of binding you are going to use? That is the binding element. Service will tell you where is your actual web service gets deployed. That is the service element. So these are the elements you should know about, all these WSDL elements. we have to know why, because in actual production environment you have to you'll get the task to customize your existing application. You have to resolve the client requirement and you have to customize the existing application to solve a particular problem, not to just to create a web service. The creation of web service is very easy, that we find last day, right? But we have to know how to customize the existing web service to resolve a particular client requirement or to resolve a particular issue. Then we must have to know the meaning of each and every element and how to work with them, right? So we'll get it more details when we talked about visual customization chapter, right? Okay. Okay, so next you can see here how this visual file look like. Root element is the definitions, and we have multiple elements in between, and lots of namespace declaration is there. These are nothing but namespace declaration, right? That you talked about last day. So lots of namespace declaration is there. We'll get step by steps. We'll familiar ourselves with those namespace, which namespace for what requirement, why I need target namespace, how I can how can use it. So those things will come step by step. For the time, just remember that definition of the root element that have multiple namespaces, and we have these 5 elements, right? Okay. So as you find here, types element, it contains the actual schema. Now see here in this types element contain the schema. Fine. Types element contain the schema. Fine. But where is that schema? That schema can be defined in the same location or in some binding style actually. So whatever it is. So if the schema in this example schema is not defined here, schema in some other location, x is equal to 1, that means it is defined in some other location. It's going to get the schema from some other location. So it is also possible the schema can, in that case there is two concepts is there, one is called inline and another is external. So in this case the schema is defined in some other location and your schema element is going to import that schema from that particular location, right? So types element in the visual file, types element contain the schema or grammar that is going to access from other location where it is defined. Similarly, we have the types element may contain the schema that is defined in the same location. So in this example, if schema contain the grammar that is defined in the same location, so both you'll get. Last day, the example that we have done, schema is defined in the same location, right? Then we talked about visual message. That message contain input argument and outgoing argument, the input parameter and outgoing parameter that is defined inside the message. And port type contain the multiple operations. In your class, you can have 3 operations. So out of these 3 operations, only in your class you can have 3 methods. Out of these 3 methods, only one method you want to expose as a web service. The method that you want to expose as a web service, that will come under operation inside port type. In your class you can have 10 methods. So out of this 10 method, I want to expose only 3 methods as as a web service. So all those 3 methods will come under operations. All those 3 methods will come under operations. So 3 operations it will come, right? So port type contain multiple operations, right? Then binding. Now here, if you see here, my calculator class contain one method, content calculator EMI. Fine. Now we have created the web service. So for web service, this is my WSDL file. In the WSDL file, this is my port type. Inside a port type, if you see the port type name is your class name and the operation name is your method name. Okay, right? So this will right. This is so. These things will not when you do this customization and WSDL, then when you'll do the things, you'll come to know it just to do the mapping one by one, right? Okay. So here we have in this examples it is using style is document. So there is 2 types of style is there. One is document, another is RPC. So so based on this style, binding style, there is some changes in your WSDL file. So what is the changes? I'll come in the WSDL document, WSDL, when I do the WSDL customization, that time we talked about. For the time being, just remember that I have two types of style, binding style in WSDL with SOAP. One is called document style, another is called RPC style. There's two types of style is the binding style. Now, what is the difference between them? I'll come after some time. Okay. Now, service element contain the location of the web service where your web service is deployed. Service element contain the location. Fine. Okay. These are some of the service port, how they are actually connected. Okay, I'll not say here too much. There is two types of style, RPC style and document style. In case of visual definition. Okay. Now the thing is that we are talking about the SOAP web service. Fine. SOAP web service, talk about SOAP web service has some of the SOAP web service full name is Simple Object Access Protocol. Fine. This SOAP web service is one type of web service protocol. Fine. Now this SOAP will always work above HTTP. Okay. Another thing is that this SOAP web service is firewall friendly. So it is one type of protocol that is used in case of SOAP web service. Now, how we can create SOAP web service? Two API specification is there. One is JAX-RPC, another is JAX-WS. Last day we have done JAX-RPC, right? Okay. Now here another thing they have given, that is SOAP can use another transport technologies called JMS also. That means SOAP will always work above HTTP. Fine. It can work above JMS also. We have SOAP message request, right? So we have these other things they have given. Okay. Now this is a SOAP test client they have given. Now we'll do it today. So what is this? This is actually last day we have created the web service using Eclipse IDE with the help of Tomcat. And what we have done, we have we have tested with the help of SOAP UI tool, and we have created another client as a core Java class that is going to consume the web service that is running on the server side. Now, what is this window? This window is one type of, it is saying SOAP test client. If you are going to create a web service and deploy that web service in the WebLogic server, then WebLogic server will provide you a test window like this. So this is an inbuilt test window provided by the WebLogic server.